Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Film Fan Club Show. This is the mostly weekly movie news talk show where we take the latest from the world of news. We'll just kind of give our input on it and maybe usually pick over some big things. And towards the end of the show, we like to look at an older movie and then look at a new movie as well, and we'll give our thoughts on that. So today I'm joined by Richard White from Odd Tale once again. You doing all right?
Hey everybody, I'm doing great, Sam.
Yeah, you ready to talk about the Oscars and some superhero movies?
Oh boy, am I ready.
Well, that takes us to our first topic. The Oscars happened, and it'd be a good time to, I guess, to plug my Oscars reaction video. I did a reaction video the very next day, so that'll be in the link to the description if you want to check that out. But Richard here, he actually got to see the whole show. And you know, Spotlight won, Mad Max took home like 6 awards, Leo won his first Oscar, and Chris Rock hosted. So what did you like about the actual show and then the awards that were given? Did you agree?
For the most part, yes. Mad Max won an obscene amount of awards, and Louis C.K. actually made a joke about that whenever he went up.
Yeah, I hear that was one of the best parts. He was really funny.
Oh yeah, he killed it. Of course, Leo won his Oscar, so I was super pumped about that.
Oh yeah, he did a great job.
I was actually in disbelief because I thought Matt Damon was gonna win it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't actually. I thought not Steve Jobs. I thought Michael Fassbender was gonna win for Steve Jobs because he did a great job. I wrongly predicted that in mine and Casey's prediction show. Mm-hmm. But then again, it seemed like once the SAG Awards came out and then the BAFTA Awards happened, and Leo won for both of those, the tide kind of started to turn towards maybe, yeah, he's actually going to get it. And he did a really great job. Now, what did you think of his speech? Because it was some people call it preachy, some people call it, perfect. And I mean, what did you think?
I agree with him, but at the same time, I was very confused as to why he brought it up.
Yeah, it was a really quick transition too. It was almost you got whiplash.
Yeah, no, I was just like, whoa. You just won your first Oscar after all these years, and this is what you talk about?
Let's talk about global warming.
Yeah.
I did like how he transitioned from it, albeit it was very quick whenever he did it, but in one sentence he was like, well, The Revenant's about a man's relationship with nature, and then let's talk about global warming. So
no, he definitely had some good points.
He did have some very good points. Did you get a chance to see Spotlight? Because I didn't.
Yes, I did.
You did? Mm-hmm. So was it the best movie that you saw in 2015?
I wouldn't say it was the best. Maybe that's just because of my personal taste. I mean, it definitely had it was definitely good. It was definitely very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Deserved to be nominated.
It deserved to be nominated. But just because of my personal taste, I didn't think it was the best.
What would you have preferred? I would have preferred Mad Max, personally, because I love Mad Max.
Mad Max was awesome.
And it was great to see it win 6 awards. Sound mixing, sound editing, production design, costume design, not visual effects because that was Ex Machina. But it swept, and it seemed like for a long time it was really maybe Mad Max has a shot of winning because Spotlight won Best Original Screenplay, but then after that it was really crickets as far as on the Spotlight front because you didn't really hear much about it, and then it was like, oh yeah, by the way, it wins Best Picture. But by the time we got there, everyone was so happy for Leo. It was like, yeah, by the way, Spotlight, Best Picture, whatever. It was like, okay. That's weird. I did think it was a little bit weird, and maybe you agree, disagree, that the Best Director was the director for The Revenant, Best Actor was the actor from The Revenant, and then Best Picture wasn't The Revenant. So that's weird.
That was the thing. I've seen Spotlight and The Revenant, and I think Revenant deserved to win Best Picture.
Yeah, I would have personally, if it wasn't Mad Max, I would have said Revenant should have won it because it was my second favorite movie of last year. And Tom Hardy, I really thought he was going to get Best Supporting Actor.
He did an amazing job.
Oh, yeah,
I was so surprised when he didn't win Best Actor because in The Revenant, he just acts like such a scumbag.
Oh yeah, he commits to that role 100%. He went through the harsh conditions just like Leo did. He worked with Alejandro Inarritu and did a great job and really made me believe that performance. So, and then, excuse me, also Mark Rylance from Bridge of Spies, who did win. Bridge of Spies was good, and he was good in it, but I didn't see there's nothing that stood out about that performance to me, whereas, there's a lot that stood out to me about Sylvester Stallone and Creed or Tom Hardy and The Revenant, so it was really weird to see Mark Rylance, and I think that was the biggest upset of the whole night, so
yeah,
do you have anything else?
As far as
how was Chris Rock hosting the show? Because I didn't get to see the show, and you did. So how was he? Did he do a good job?
He did a good job, but there's the whole black,
Oscar's so white thing.
Yeah. And he talked about that in the beginning, and he did a good job in the beginning. But then as the show went on, like they kept dragging on and on the whole black thing, and it kind of got really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then some of the Oscar nominees started making jokes about it,
Yeah.
even though they're not black. And it's
They're
just
the white
like
people are joking about it.
it's just like I'm not sure you can joke about that.
For real. It was nice. I heard the president of the Academy came out and talked about diversity and why it's important to make sure that we're equally representing people in the Hollywood film industry and stuff like that, which is good because we talked about it also in the Film Fan Club show. They're going to be changing the rules for the voters in the Academy to make it more reflective of our actual diverse culture in America. So
Really?
that's really cool, and I think it tied in well with that. But yeah, it was a really great 88th Annual Academy Awards. I hope I don't have to work next time, so that way I can actually watch them. But it was fun to hear about because like every time we go in a commercial break at the news, I would be, all right, who's won next? And then yeah, it was great. So before we move on, you got anything else?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so
either. Alicia Vikander, good job on winning Best Supporting Actress. She really deserved it. I love the Danish Girl. I'm just buying time while I skip through all these pieces of paper. Gosh, look at all these winners.
Just man, oh man.
I am a professional. There we go. We're on to the next story. Smoothest transition I've ever done. And now the next story is Justice League Part 1. And this isn't officially part of it, but I remember, did you hear any of those rumors that people are like, hey man, the studio execs are worried about Justice League. We don't know. We might have to replace the director. And I was like, that's crazy. So then what happened was right after that, Zack Snyder officially confirmed that Justice League 1 is officially a go and filming will begin April 11th. So just about a month from now, they're going to be filming Justice League Part 1. And I think they actually tweeted a picture of the set, which I don't have right here, but it's pretty cool. Batman vs. Superman's about to come out. I got my tickets for that, so that's going to be great. And so you hear this news, and in light of the kind of people were worried about Justice League, now they're not worried about Justice League. It's going to film. Zack Snyder's still directing. You take all this news, and how do you feel about it?
I think Zack Snyder is the right man for the job.
Yeah.
But I understand why there's some worry about Justice League because that is a very large project to take on.
Oh yeah, and we haven't even seen Batman vs. Superman yet. So it's like, what if? And they're about to start filming, right? So if they're filming April 11th, and like 2 weeks before that, it's when Batman vs. Superman comes out. They're not really going to be able to make a lot of script adjustments if they need to. So like, what if people hate Wonder Woman? That'll be crazy. So
I feel like they're taking too much on their plate, and just with a project as big as that size, and everyone's going to be comparing it to the Avengers.
Oh, obviously. But here's the weird thing. For me, is the Avengers was great in the sense that it brought all these superheroes together, but it didn't really accomplish a lot other than that. I didn't really feel like there was a lot of a compelling story in the Avengers, and it was just it was like a fun cartoon.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like Justice League has the potential to do all that, and it can do all that hopefully with ease because it's not too, they have the formula right there in front of them with the Avengers. But if they can add a story that's thought-provoking or anywhere near what Man of Steel or the Dark Knight trilogy was able to do, and what Batman vs. Superman hopefully does, then I think it'll make for a pretty good film.
Well, I mean, I think they'll also be aiming for that since obviously their universe is quite a bit darker than the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You got half the main characters are like orphans. So you gotta kind
Parents
of
aren't allowed.
Yeah, for real. And there was a weird mandate. I remember like a couple, I think a year ago, there was a rumor that Warner Brothers was like, no jokes. We're not gonna have any jokes in our DC movies, just to be different from Marvel. And I'm like, that's a little weird, but I don't know. And I think they also, I remember, I didn't have this written down, but they're also, there's a rumor that they're going to start shooting Suicide Squad 2 next year in summer of 2017. So that'll be pretty cool. Last time you were on the show, we talked about the trailer for Suicide Squad. So do you think you'll want to see a sequel? 1 second. Go ahead.
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but from what I've seen, it looks really, really awesome. And if the movie pulls off what the trailer is, showing us what we're gonna get, then I definitely want to see a sequel.
It'll be really cool that not only does Warner Brothers have confidence in something that it's not even like we're still 6 months away from it even being out. It'll be good that they have confidence in that, and then there is also maybe more story to tell with Harley Quinn and the Joker.
And there's definitely. and they're gonna have character variety.
Oh yeah, they can always, just like the Avengers, they can constantly be rotating out the team, and I personally would like to see some more, like maybe we get Deathstroke in there or something like that, you know?
That'd be cool.
Although I hope that they save him for a Teen Titans movie, because I'm still holding out for that Teen Titans movie.
If there's a Teen Titans movie, I would just give them all my money. I'd
Yeah,
just
I
be
don't
like,
even
take
count.
it.
Yeah, it would be great, and you could. I'm so excited. I want them to do a Teen Titans movie so bad, and they don't even have to call it Teen Titans, because people are afraid, like, well, it's about teenagers. Nobody wants to see a kids movie. I'm like, just okay, take teen out of it. Just call it DC's Titans. Dude. Bam! I would see that movie.
Yeah.
It's got Robin in it. It's got Cyborg in it. It's got Deathstroke in it. I don't even care. I'll go see it.
I'd like to see Nightwing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be cool if he was the leader of the team as Nightwing instead of Robin, because there's still a stigma. No matter how well they can do him in the comics or in the cartoons, there's still always going to be a stigma with Robin, you know, because of the 60s and the 90s movies. So they probably will want to get away from that and make a Nightwing.
Yeah. Plus, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit biased. Nightwing's my favorite superhero.
Yeah, Nightwing's pretty cool too. I was at
He's awesome.
I was at the mall, and they had a lot of like Nightwing T-shirts and stuff, and I was like, I didn't even know there's a big fan base for Nightwing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's cool. I almost got a coffee mug, but I didn't. Saved my money. Got some gummy worms instead. So next up, we're going from a positive movie news story for a comic book movie, and now to a more negative one, kind of negative depending on how you look at it. Gambit. It was slated for October 2016. Of this year, and it did not. It's not going to be making that because it has Channing Tatum. It lost its director, and then Channing Tatum was rumored to be leaving it for a while, and then now it's just taken from the schedule altogether. But Fox has placed 2 mystery dates, one for October 2017, and then another for January 2018. So you hear this news. Gambit's not happening this year. They got 2 more dates for movies that we don't even know what they are yet. How do you feel, and what do you think those movies could be?
I'm disappointed because Gambit's one of those superheroes I'm really into because he's just cool.
He's a really slick kind of, even in the X-Men Origins movie,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about a little bit later, he was really good in that. He was one of my favorite parts of it. I thought he did a great job. But
Yeah, plus, I don't know, he just has cool powers, and like, he's fun. He's a fun character. And so I'm sad to see that movie go. But I will admit that I'm very curious about these 2 mystery movies.
Oh yeah, I'm really wondering. I'm looking up the dates right now because they have October 7th, or October 6th, 2017, and January 12th, 2018. And those sound really kind of familiar because you think October, that's what they had Gambit for this year, and then January, well, they had Deadpool this past February. So it's like, what I think is maybe they could just be pushing Gambit back from October 2016 to 2017.
I can see
and
that.
then Deadpool 2, they're like, hey, it worked in February, and there might be, I think Black Panther's coming out February 2018, so they want to stay away from that, but they still want to get that month that's not really busy. So they want to maybe just put it in January. Do you think that could be possible, or do you think, I've also heard rumors that they're going to maybe do January 2018 for an X-Force movie, so I don't know. How do you feel about that? You think Deadpool's going to happen, or do you think X-Force is more likely?
Well, I know when Deadpool came out, it was a huge success.
Yeah.
So, knowing Fox, I can imagine they're going to want to cash in on that. But they're also going to have time to, I don't know. I feel like Deadpool was definitely a major investment for them. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was not really monetary wise because it was only like $60-70 million to make, but it was a huge gamble on whether or not they were going to get that return because it was a mouthy rated R superhero where violence and sex and you haven't seen the whole film, I think, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. But there's some pretty grotesque sex scenes in there. One National Women's Day, which is a pretty great scene. You'll see it. It's oh my gosh. But I'm really excited for these new movies. Gambit is, he seems like a fun character. I feel like, why not just put him on the X-Men team? Why not have him in the sequel to X-Men Apocalypse? But oh yeah, I remember. I didn't even look it up. But so right now they have X-Men Apocalypse coming out in this May. And then March after that, a year from now, they'll have Wolverine 3 coming out in March of 2017. Then October 2017, they're going to have a mystery movie, maybe Gambit. And then January 2018, they'll have another mystery movie, maybe Deadpool. And then July 2018, they have another X-Men movie. So
that's one hell of a lineup.
Yeah, like DC's doing 2 movies a year, Marvel's doing two movies a year, Fox is now doing 2 movies a year. It's going to be great. And I think that it's great to stick to 2 movies a year because Gambit coming out this year was ambitious. I didn't know if they were actually going to make it. They didn't.
Yeah.
So it'll be I think it's a smart move so they can actually put the effort they need to. And also, they got to figure out that budget situation because I don't know if you heard this, but the budget for the movie was supposedly going to be $150 million for the Gambit movie. Just a Gambit movie, not an X-Men movie, not a,
That's a lot.
Avengers movie. Yeah, Gambit movie. And like, why? Why? You made Deadpool for $60 million. You can make, why do you need to make Gambit for $90 more million than that, And I think Gambit is almost, I would put more money on Deadpool making more than Gambit would, because Deadpool, there's a huge fan base for that. Gambit's kind of like, there's a fan base for it, but they're not as passionate as the Deadpool fans, because when I go to Comic-Con conventions, I can pick out 15 different Deadpools. I don't even know if I can find one Gambit.
And I mean, not even that. It's also like Gambit's not as controversial as Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to see that humor, the dry and kind of dirty humor. Well, let's move on. We're talking about X-Men movies still. Wolverine 3 is happening in March of 2017, like I just said. And Liev Schreiber, who was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, one of the best parts of X-Men Origins Wolverine, he's talking about potentially coming back to reprise his role of Sabretooth. He says, he told MTV News, "We talked about it. I don't know. Hugh Jackman's mentioned it to me. The Old Man Logan story, that's appealing. That's something I can do. Old being the operative word." Yeah. So you saw X-Men Origins Wolverine, and
yes, I did.
What did you think of Liev Schreiber's performance in it, and would you like to see him come back?
That was actually the one thing I loved about X-Men Wolverine.
I agree. Yeah, he was great.
X-Men Origins Wolverine, because like he plays such a good Sabretooth. Like he's got the look down, he's got the the attitude down. He just kills it as Sabretooth. The only problem was X-Men Origins Wolverine was a trash movie.
Yeah, it was not a good movie. It was pretty sad because, and I didn't really like how they made them brothers, because that wasn't ever in the comics, I don't think. But I did like the relationship they had. Because they made them brothers, they were able to kind of have an interesting back and forth that made for some really great dialogue. And I think that he's got the action part down. You said he didn't necessarily have the look of the comics down, but
kind of his own original look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He made the role his own, and I think at this point Fox is just kind of who cares about continuity? If Liev Schreiber works best for this movie, we'll use him for this movie, and I think it'll be a really great move to have him, because it'll kind of close out this trilogy of Wolverine movies, if you will.
They pretty much restarted the whole X-Men series, so I'm pretty sure they're just done with continuity.
They don't even care. And originally we were going to talk about Gods of Egypt director Alex Proyas talking about film critics. He basically went on a rant on the internet and said, "Hey, if you don't like my movie, you're stupid." And to that, I say, Alex Proyas, you're stupid. I can't wait to watch your movie and give it a bad review. And we're going to skip over that because we were running out of time. So let's move on, continuing on with X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, we talked about Liev Schreiber. Now let's just talk about the movie as a whole, because it introduced Deadpool. It brought Wolverine back after, he was only in 3 movies before that. But then, after X-Men The Last Stand came out and almost everybody died in that movie, we're like, what are we going to do next? What's the next X-Men movie? I can't wait to see what's happening. They're like, hey, we're doing a spin-off about Wolverine. I'm like, that's cool. I can't wait to see the Berserker Rage. And then they just kind of gave us X-Men Origins Wolverine. And now, what are your memories of X-Men Origins Wolverine? And I guess let's hear a rating at the end too.
I remember I was really psyched for it.
Yeah.
And starting the movie, I was just like, oh, this is cool.
The beginning is fantastic. When they're going through time, I loved it.
And then like halfway through, I was just like, wait a second.
He's a lumberjack in Canada with a girl, like what?
And then like 75% way through, I was just like, no, this can't be happening. And then
go ahead.
And then at the end, I was just like, no.
I love the visuals that we got there. I could just picture you in the theater, just no. It was weird because I felt like they were trying to make an X-Men movie, but they were also trying to make a Wolverine movie. And it's like, which are you do? Because Wolverine's a solo character. He's not a leader of a team whenever he's not with the X-Men. So because they put him with William Stryker, and then he was on a team which was called Team X, which was really silly. And then they had the Weapon X program. It's an X because it's called X-Men.
I was like, man, subtle.
Yeah, I know, you're really subtle with the brand recognition there. And now I will admit, I did like the portrayal of William Stryker in the movie. I thought he was cool. I liked, obviously, X-Men 2. That version's a little bit better, but he did for a younger version. I liked what they were going for. And I'm trying to think of other things I liked about the movie. Gambit, I liked Gambit in the movie. I think even Taylor Kitsch could come back and be Gambit. I don't know why they have to, because I get continuity, schmontinuity, who cares?
Yeah.
But I mean, if the guy worked in that movie, Ryan Reynolds got another chance. So I don't know. Let's talk about Deadpool, by the way, since we're about to talk about the new Deadpool movie. Let's talk about our first introduction to him in the film universe was with Wade Wilson. And first he was in the first 20, 30 minutes, and then he was in the last 20, 30 minutes. Now, how did you feel about that? Both versions, I guess, the beginning and the end, Deadpool in that movie.
Honestly, I think they did well.
No. You got to be kidding, right? Deadpool? Yeah. At the end of the X-Men Origins Wolverine, where they sewed his mouth shut?
Sorry, I was just like...
That was a close one.
I thought you meant the new
Isaiah
Deadpool.
Back there's freaking out.
I was literally just like, Richard.
No.
Not the new one.
No.
No, I thought you meant the new one. I was just
No.
Yes.
I can see where you know. They sewed his mouth shut. They gave him the weird.
Oh God, no!
Yeah,
that was awful.
How did you feel about that? Yeah,
no. No, they skewered his character. It was horrible. like I don't know. In the beginning, I was just like,
he was fine in the beginning. I thought
I was just like, oh, that's a cool cameo.
Yeah, he doesn't have his mask. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, and you know he's got a mouth on him. And then at the end, I was just like, no. Yeah. I was like, this is awful.
Okay, that's the reaction I expected. Phew. Okay, I agree with your reaction to that one.
That'll be a great.
I hated. No, I actually liked the beginning of the movie where he's being Ryan Reynolds being Deadpool. That was cool. I was like, this is a cool groundwork for Wade Wilson as a character, and maybe if they did a Wolverine 2, they could expand on it and make him actual Deadpool. But then by the time we got to the end of the movie, I'm like, what's that? And they're like, and then I remember William Stryker said some cheesy line like, "We're getting all the powers for the pool." I'm like, the what? He's like, the Deadpool.
That was awful, and I hated how like he's a joke character. Like he's awesome, but he's a joke character.
Yeah, let's sew his mouth shut.
Yeah, let's make him all serious. Let's give him laser eyes.
Oh my gosh, there's so much wrong with that movie, and which sucks because X-Men: The Last Stand was not as good as the first two. Still a passable film, and I liked how and I liked some parts of how it closed out the trilogy. But then you go from that to X-Men Origins Wolverine, where it's like you can criticize the technical aspects. The adamantium claws looked bad. Hugh Jackman looks older. Yeah, there's a scene where he's in the bathroom and he's like sharpening his claw.
It looks like a cartoon.
Yeah, it looks like a cartoon PS2 cut scene from a video game or something. It was so bad. No, but
awful. Yeah,
Liev Schreiber was good. I liked William Stryker. Hugh Jackman does a good job, playing Wolverine because he's in that. He's done that for several years at that point, and there's not much more that can be said about the movie other than your rating, which would be what?
For X-Men Origins
Wolverine?
X-Men
Origins Wolverine.
I'll be kind. I'll give it a 4. A 4 out of 10.
Okay. I'm going to give it... I'm stuck between... I'll give it 4.5 out of 10, because at first I was like, I'll give it 4, and then I was thinking, I'll give it 5. Now I can't go back, so I'll give it 4.5 out of 10. It was a pretty big letdown. I remember the thing is, this is like how a little 14-year-old Sam was in 2009 whenever it came out. I was like, my dad was like, so what's your favorite X-Men movie? And he's like, list your favorite X-Men movies. I'm like, X-Men Origins Wolverine's number 1. X-Men 2 is the second best. I'm like, yeah, X-Men 2 is the best X-Men movie, guys. And if you ask me. So let's move on. We talked about X-Men Origins Wolverine.
What about X-Men 3?
And X-Men 3 is not in my top 5 X-Men movies. If you ask me, there's only 4 X-Men movies. There's X-Men 1, X-Men 2, X-Men First Class, then X-Men Days of Future Past, and now Deadpool.
Yeah.
There's only 5 X-Men movies. And speaking of, it's a great transition.
I approve of that because I didn't like X-Men 3.
Exactly. I don't really care for it either. Good transition to Deadpool. Let's talk about it. Now, we got 2 different perspectives. I've seen the movie twice. You have only seen parts of it, but you have seen the trailers. You've seen all the marketing material. So we'll talk about your expectations for the movie and how. And given you've seen the reaction, it's got 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. So when you do watch the movie, and you are going to watch it, obviously.
Oh yeah.
What are you expecting? Do you think it'll be good? Do you think it'll suck? Do you think everyone else is wrong?
From what I've seen, it looks pretty good. It's definitely got the humor aspect.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I noticed from the little I've seen of it, I noticed they were like doing flashbacks.
It's very out of order, kind of like Batman Begins, but not Batman Begins, because Batman Begins does it in a very serious way, where it's cutting back between the origin and the present day. And this one, it starts with the present day, and then it cuts back, but it's like Deadpool telling you the story, so it makes sense, you know. Yeah, and so you saw Ryan Reynolds in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and obviously you've seen parts of it. Do you think he's gonna bring it?
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be great.
I mean, the problem with X-Men Origins Wolverine, it wasn't the actor.
Oh, no.
It was the storytelling. It was what they did with the character.
It was the script and the director for sure. And then actually the director of Gambit, of Deadpool, is a first-time director. He's been in the visual effects industry for a very long time. He was a visual effects supervisor for some X-Men films, I think. His name's Tim Miller. And then he got brought on to do Deadpool in like 2010. And so he's been working on this for 6 years now. And he finally, and just to see it pay off and have 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, I personally give Deadpool a 9 out of 10. And just to see it pay off for Tim Miller, who's a director, he did a great job, and it's so happy. It's now.
I actually read something interesting on that, because they were interviewing Ryan Reynolds about. Do you remember when the leaked footage came out?
Mm-hmm. Leaked footage.
Yeah, apparently, they asked Ryan Reynolds about it, and they were just like, "Did you leak it?" And he was just like, "No." But I know it was between me, the director, and like one other dude. He's just like, we're the only ones who had the footage.
Yeah.
So one of us leaked it.
Oh, you know for sure that. I mean, I feel like it was a very strategic move on Fox to have that come out, because that showed us the Deadpool that we wanted. And it's honestly, that scene's in the movie. You know, it's the first act of the movie, really.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I love the way that this film was structured. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, she did a great job in the movie. I'm trying to think of who else is in the film. Have you seen any of the Francis memes on the internet with Ajax soap and stuff like that? Oh my gosh, it's so funny. The humor in this movie is on point. I mentioned the National Women's scene earlier. It's dirty, and it's not dirty just for the sake of being dirty. It's dirty because that fits this character like a glove. And we didn't really talk about it, but they're thinking about making the next Wolverine movie rated R. I don't know if you need to do that, because I feel like it works best with Deadpool. Like Wolverine could be rated R because of the gore, but you don't need, Wolverine doesn't need to say the F word every 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have to have a lot of sex.
It's not going to be rated R for the humor.
Exactly. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't come as naturally to Wolverine as it does to Deadpool. And what else came naturally to this film was Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. He is Wade Wilson. He is to Wade Wilson what Hugh Jackman is to Wolverine now. I'm never gonna let this guy do another comic book movie. And the jokes were on point too, referencing X-Men Origins and Green Lantern, where they're like, hey, "You're really annoying. I ought to sew your mouth shut." And he's like, "It's not a good idea."
I heard the joke about the green. Don't put me in a green animated suit.
Yeah, don't make it animated. Which is actually ironic too, because they animated a lot of the Deadpool suit with his eyes and whatnot. So, but for the sake of a joke, I thought it was hilarious. Yeah. And the way that they animated the Deadpool suit, and they made his eyes move, and it was like a cartoon, or not a cartoon. It was like a comic book, and it was perfect in the way that they did that. And
nice.
The love interest, I didn't mention this yet, the love interest in the film, she does a fantastic job. I don't know if you're really into love stories and superhero movies.
Oh, I'm a big softie.
Yeah.
Giant softie.
Giant softie. Like Spider-Man, Mary Jane, terrible love interest, didn't really care. Even Rachel Dawes in the Dark Knight trilogy didn't really care, but in Deadpool, the love interest Vanessa, I really care about her and Deadpool's relationship, and I want to see them happily ever after at the end. And the way that this movie was able to get me to care about that is a huge feat, and it really plays into the kind of non-linear storytelling of it, because the movie starts and he's Deadpool already.
Yeah.
But then they have to go back and tell the origin story, whereas if you would have started and he's not Deadpool yet, I would have been kind of like, all right, let's get there. But the cool thing is they're able to introduce you to Deadpool. Okay, here's this guy. Here's him here's him doing cool stuff, and this is why you should care about him. And then they show us, his backstory after we care about him. It's like, okay, now I'm invested in this. So
it's definitely something not a lot of origin stories do.
Oh, and not well when they try to.
No.
Man of Steel tried to do it, and that's one of the weirdest things about the movie is it was kind of hit and miss with the non-linear storytelling of it. Did you like Man of Steel?
I liked it, but I also
a lot of problems.
There was problems.
This isn't our Man of Steel review, but I really like Man of Steel. It gets better for me every time I watch it, except the freaking tentacle things at the end, where he's like he goes to the other side of the world and has
Yeah.
to stop the thing from destroying the Indian Ocean, and then he fights the tentacles. Could have cut that whole part of the movie out, and would have made it like 15 minutes less long. It would have made that fight go a lot better. But back to Deadpool, another red costumed superhero. This movie was fantastic. Ryan Reynolds does a great job. Tim Miller does a great job. The script is amazing from the writers of Zombieland. They're already working on a sequel. I can't wait to see X-Force. I really wish you had seen it already so I could tell you the post-credit scene, because it's a great post-credit scene. You got to see that as well. I'm trying to think of other things to say, but I mean, usually this is the part where I would go into my cons with the movie.
There were none.
I don't really have any. I'm going to give it 9 out of 10 because I don't think it's, I don't have a lot of cons, but at the same time, I don't think it was a perfect movie.
You don't think it's like the pinnacle of movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like Birdman or something. Even Birdman, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, I gave it 9.5. But so Deadpool. But I did actually. Here's the weird thing. I enjoyed Deadpool as a film from an objective standpoint. I like Deadpool more than The Force Awakens. So
Really?
If that's any indication, because I gave Force Awakens 8 out of 10, I gave this 9 out of 10. This is a damn good movie. So I would recommend that you guys see Deadpool if you haven't yet. I mean, we're like a month late getting to this, so you've probably seen Deadpool already. But I just wanted to talk about it. I haven't gotten
Be
a
one of the
chance
late
to.
ones like me.
Yeah, exactly. So he's my proof that maybe not all of you have seen Deadpool yet, and so you should if you haven't. When are you seeing Deadpool?
I plan on seeing it this week, actually.
You need to.
I've just been so busy recently.
I work at Cinemark. I will get you a guest pass just to get you into that theater. It's that good.
I'll take you up on that offer.
I saw it February 12th in IMAX opening day, and then the next day I saw it Saturday, just because I was like, hey, I'm at my home. I got 2 hours to kill. I'm gonna go to work and watch that movie. That was great, and that was our show for today. I give Deadpool 9 out of 10. What a fun show! We had a good lots of different topics. Got some Oscar stuff. Got some superhero stuff.
You got to see me panic.
Got to see you panic. Got to see me panic, because I was like, wait a second. Richard likes the Barakapool.
Barakapool.
We're off the rails. We got to end the show. No, this is the part of the show where I plug the stuff that I'm also doing on the Film Fan Club show. So make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel if you're not yet. Every week we do a show here on the Film Fan Club show, except for when we don't. So we will. Right now the plan is to do another one. I think Peyton and I are going to try and do a show next week. I'm really excited because this is the back. We took a month off. Now we're back. And also, my favorite podcast is coming back tomorrow, because I think this airs on the 9th, and then my podcast comes back. My favorite podcast comes back on the 10th. So check this out. Check out Schmo's No Movie Show. I don't know why I threw that in there. But also, check out my Bates Motel reviews, House of Cards reviews, my reviews of 11/22/63, movie reviews. I'm done with that now. Where can people find you online and YouTube?
You can find me on YouTube at Oddtail. That is my channel name. I do games, kinda. I do games, I do skits. Honestly, right now we're kind of, I'm taking a break because just trying to focus on school and, but I think my show is gonna get back on the rails once summer hits.
Yeah.
So around May is when you can start to expect more content. But if you want a little peek into what I'm gonna be doing, check out the Luigi's Mansion review, or check out one of our skits.
Luigi's Mansion review cracks me up every time I watch it. So I am on Twitter, Instagram, and Vimeo at Samuel D. Carrico. And if you go to my Vimeo, which is vimeo.com/Samuel D. Carrico, I have a couple episodes up of our show at Tulsa Tech called Riverside Live, where I hosted that. Make sure you check that out and give it a thumbs up if you can. Give this episode a thumbs up too. Don't give it a thumbs down. Don't be a dick. And
like and subscribe.
like and subscribe for more. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time.